Hello Scorpio friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Scorpio December 2021 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. That is the interface for all of the free goodies that I make for you each month, and you don't want to miss anything I work hard to make you, to help you make the most of the energies of the stars and all of the potentials waiting there for you. If you would like to earn money as an astrologer, I can teach you how to do that. You can see my course at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E, life.com. At that same site, I do have some free courses, including a course about manifesting money that is free, so you can check that out there. Two quick admin notes to help Scorpios make the most of this. One is that this is for you if Scorpio is your sun sign, but also if it's your moon, your rising, or even your Mercury or Venus or Mars, or whatever else you might be watching for. The next thing to note is that if you're a late degree Scorpio placement, like if your birthday is November 11th through the rest of the sign, or if you have 20 to 29 degrees for one of your Scorpio placements, then I also suggest that you watch my Sagittarius report. Those of you at the end of the sign are cuspy and you have a more complex read, and you'll get pieces from both the Scorpio and the Sag report. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about as usual. We have a major big wrap up going on here at the end of the year, and it is fitting. It will feel like an end of the year with a lot of things coming to completion. And we have a bunch of factors playing into this, and we're going to talk about all of them. The first big must know is that we have the second eclipse of the eclipse season. The first was in November. Definitely watch my November report to get the details about how that might affect you, because the effects from the November eclipse are carried over into December as well, and you might see manifestations from that first eclipse here in this month. But we also have a second eclipse, December 4th, a solar eclipse at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. This is very, very, very important because this is a wrap-up of the Sagittarius-Gemini eclipse cycle that started in its influence around March of 2020 when the world shut down. So a lot of the themes that have been going on for that time, excuse me, a lot of the themes that have been going on for that time, all through 2020, all through 2021, are going to come to a close. And you will see that in your personal life. You will see that in the global community. Some things are definitely going to be wrapped up. And yes, that does mean certain aspects of our flow with the coronavirus and the systems changing are going to close a chapter and we'll enter new ones. And hopefully that will be a very positive thing. The next thing is that anything involving Sagittarius-related topics are likely to come up in your life. If you've been wanting to go back to school or something on the topic of education for yourself or someone in your family. If you've been wanting to teach, or if you're a teacher or want to be a teacher. Whether that's actually literally a teacher as your job or bringing teaching more into your work. Things like that. Anything with long-distance travel, international travel, things happening with international business, even if they're virtual connections, those topics are very likely to be front and center for you in some way, as are writing, publishing, speaking, and anything involving your church or spiritual group or spiritual beliefs. This can also have to do with your outlook on things, so you might be in for a brand new way of seeing things, which can radically change how you experience things. Now, specifically for Scorpio, this eclipse is going to happen in your money sector. So you are likely to see very big money changes. You can see old ways of getting income coming to a close, and you can see new ways of income coming in, or you can just be diversifying your income portfolio. This can mean a new source of income. This can mean a new financial reality. And this can also mean new levels of relationship with the material realm and the topic of sustainability. If you want more information about how the eclipses might affect you, I suggest that you watch my Eclipses in Sagittarius video. I also suggest that all Scorpios watch my Eclipses in Taurus video, because that is going to be where it hits in your chart. You can find these videos by organic search, Annie Botticelli and Eclipses in Taurus or Eclipses in Sagittarius. Or you can go to my YouTube homepage and I have an eclipse playlist. Something else that will be relevant for those of you who are November born, or those of you who have 11 to 29 degrees as your Scorpio placement, I also suggest you watch my Eclipses in Aries, because that is going to be an additional layer of potentials of how this eclipse cycle might have been affecting you over these last couple of years and how they're likely to manifest at this time. But either way, the tag lines of eclipses are major goodbyes and major hellos and clearing out of karma and stepping into your highest destiny, your highest expression in this lifetime, because the eclipses run across the same path that the North and South nodes do, and the North and South nodes have to do with your karma and your dharma. So you might have sudden trajectory shifts, but to trust that even if there's stress involved or an unwelcome goodbye, that there are things opening up for you that can really level up your experience, and some things you've been waiting for a long time or working towards can manifest in a wonderful way. Okay, the next major must know is that we have Venus going retrograde. Now, I'll give you some dates about this cycle, and we'll go into some details. December 19th is when it officially goes retrograde, and is retrograde until around January 29th. The pre-transit shadow period started around November 18th, and the post-shadow transit will go until the first couple of days of March. So it's a very long transit that we have, and since Venus rules love and relationships and romance and money and finances and income and design projects and beauty and physical, things with your physical body and appearance, since Venus rules all of those different things, you really want to know what the heck is going on in the retrograde. But I'm your girl for that. So I've created a massive amount of resources. We're going to talk about some critical must-knows in this video right now, but I'm going to refer you out because all of the things that we have going on are way more complex than I can give credit to or properly prepare you for in the horoscope video, because otherwise the video will be like 4 hours long. So that's why I'm referring you out to additional resources to deepen your understanding of how to use the energies this month. And that is what my mission is for you, to have the most ease and grace and to understand the energies that are coming so you can use them in the best ways. So you can search for Annie Botticelli Venus retrograde and find my video. I also have a Venus retrograde through the signs and houses blog series on my AnnieHelpsYou.com site. Major must know about Venus retrograde is that you are going to be under a spell. You are going to have rose-colored glasses on when it comes to anything involving all the things we mentioned, love, beauty, money, which means that it might not be the best time to make big decisions that have to do with those things, unless they are low stakes, easily fixable or reversible, or whatever you're committing to is something you can very easily handle and is sustainable for you. Okay, so a couple of examples about that. Let's say you're trying to buy a house, and because the housing market is on fire, you pay way more for a house than you think you can afford, or you might think you can afford it, but you pay way more than you should be, and then that happens in Venus retrograde, then that might make it not sustainable for the long run. So you might be seeing rose-colored glasses as to bend and twist and try to make it fit when you really kind of have that gut knowing that it's just too much to take on. And that's going to be kind of hard to reverse, right? So that being said, many people will find their perfect home and will get a great deal. This is a time in Venus retrograde, big must know, is that other people who have gotten in over their heads or for other reasons have to release something of value at a low price, you can get an amazing deal. If you see this happening, you just have to make sure that it's not a money trap and you get all of the extra inspections and do your extra research about the area, about what you're buying, because the chance for something to cost you more than you think it is, like for instance, you buy it and the way that it was presented is not how it is, and it winds up being that you have to replace a lot of expensive items. Those kind of things are that happen more often when you make a big purchase in Venus retrograde. So you just want to make sure that you're prepared for that and that you do, dot all your I's and cross your T's. Now, something else to know is that you're not seeing clearly in love either. So if you meet someone that you've never known before in Venus retrograde and you decide you want to marry them, you might want to hold off until the energies get more clear, because a lot of the theme of what happens in Venus retrograde is, what was I thinking? And people tend to do things that are big things, and they get this urge to make these sweeping changes in the areas of life ruled by Venus, only to then take the glasses off once the love spell is over. Venus has this love spell on you. and then you see clearly. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you might not be seeing clearly, and to do things that are low stakes. Low stakes things are totally fine at this time. Low stakes means they're really inexpensive and affordable, or even if they're not inexpensive and you just happen to be able to afford things that are expensive. If it's affordable for you and you won't be put out if something changes with it, then that's fine. So light sprucing up, doing something minor for your wardrobe or something, to your appearance that is fixable, reversible, all of that's fine. You just kind of want to think more carefully about like the body art that's not reversible, cutting all your hair off, doing something that is a drastic thing that you wouldn't be able to fix if when the goggles come off, you change your mind. Okay, so now specifically for Scorpio, Venus is going to be retrograde in the areas of the third house. And for those of you later in the sign, it will actually be touching into the second house, which adds to this money focus at this time as well. But either way, all of you have a focus on business and work, which we'll get to in a second. Let me talk about the third house first. So the third house and Venus being retrograde has to do with you reconsidering all of your communication styles and the way that you communicate and interact in your personal relationships. It also is going to bring a lot of focus to money-making projects that have to do with your creativity. Specifically, writing comes up a lot when this transit happens in the third house, or anything like driving around or traveling for work. You're going to be asking a lot of questions about your work, your employment, your income, and your future income. If you need work or you need employment, a good thing to consider is to go back to something that you did before or go back to something that you liked before. And this will carry a lot better energy than trying to do something brand new at this time. Major must know with Venus retrograde is, as we talk about with Mercury retrograde, the tides are coming in at this time. So if you just imagine being on a beach and the tides are coming in, if you want to set a boat out to get out, to the sea, or throw a message in a bottle out, and you do that when the tide is coming in, your boat or your message is not going to go out very far. And that's what you need to know about the retrograde. So you don't want to do things that require your launch out really far. Those kind of things are better supported in the earlier part of November. You can watch the November report for the dates there, or will be very well supported again in March. We have some great energies to push forward again. But right now, the tides are coming in. So this is good for having things, money and opportunities come in from things you already worked on. This is a time to be the spider when you've woven your web in November and before. And now you kind of sit back and see what comes in your web, and then you feast off of what comes to you rather than trying to conjure something or push something out very far. You'll have to deal with unresolved money and relationship and self-esteem issues that might not have been worked out in the past, but you don't have to fear this because you'll have opportunities to clear up things that have been interfering with your money consciousness, your recognition of your value, and how you show up in relationships and what you manifest in your relationship space, including your relationship with money. This also can have to do with relatives, business ventures with relatives or money dealings with relatives can come up. And if you've had creative projects that you haven't monetized, you might start the discussion again for brainstorming on how you can monetize things that had been fun creative projects for you, how you can start to make money. And this is going to be a very major trend now and in the future, is that there's this great change going on in the workforce where people are really asking the question, how do I monetize the things that I love so that I can live my passion and my purpose more? And you're going to be asking those questions. You might also be getting some answers and opportunities along those lines. Okay, let's see what else. This can also have to do with old bosses or authority figures, or your father or father figures, or if a mother, played a strong kind of paternal role, they can factor in, and money or opportunities or issues or something from the past might be worked out with them. Okay, so let's see. Now, in general, Venus is going Capricorn or retrograde in Capricorn, and for Scorpios, this is a great thing because the angle that's made for you is a beautiful one. So whenever we have a long-standing transit, that has a nice angle for us, it increases the odds that we're going to have blessings that come from the past in the areas ruled by the planet, okay, in this case, Venus. So the odds that you're going to have blessings from the past in your money and love and self-esteem are much increased because of the beautiful angle. So Venus, and this is true for all Scorpio placements, but it's especially true for the November born, okay? Don't worry, October born, you're not being left out of this. But if you are a November born, the retrograde is going to, first Venus is going to make a kiss, and then when it goes retrograde, it's going to make a kiss again to your placement. Then when it goes direct, it will make a kiss again. So you'll get a triple kiss if you have a placement between 11 and especially 26 degrees, or you're a November born. Now, I have always encouraged you to find how to run a free birth chart online and to do it so that you can make the most of the information I give you, because you may not be an October born or a November born Scorpio, but you could have placements between 11 and 26 degrees in Scorpio that you don't know about. And if you run a birth chart, you might be very surprised to find that you have more than one Scorpio placement. When I first saw my chart, I didn't really understand astrology all that well, but I was like, what is all this going on over there? All that going on was a massive amount of Sagittarius. So for me, that means that anything that goes on with aspects for Sag at any degree, regardless of my birthday and degree, is going to profoundly affect me. And you might find the same thing. So in the past, I had suggested you search for how to do a free birth chart online, but now, as a member of my email community, one of the new perks you're going to get starting at the end of November is that you can run a free birth chart in my free membership site. Okay, so if you haven't signed up at anniehelpsyou.com for my newsletter, you definitely want to do that. Then you'll have instructions on how you can access that. Then you can use my reports in a deeper way. Okay, so some other must-knows here. First is that we do have a little bit more time with Mars being in your sign, and this has definitely definitely in the previous months, and now especially for you later degree people. So this is what I'm about to say is true for all Scorpio placements, but it has an extra intensity for those of you who have placements that are anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees or are in the last a little more than a week of the sign. Okay, so we'll say like the 14th or 15th of November on through the rest of the sign. This will have special significance for you because Mars is going to cross over your placement. On the upside, this can help you be more motivated. This can help increase the odds that collaborations or people you've been working with can, those synergies can really yield for you. On the downside, you might have anger or aggression or resentment that is not resolved. And again, remember, this is true for all Scorpios because this is kind of a season. These few months around this time are a season when Mars in Scorpio is really bringing up unresolved anger issues and resentment. And the more you can deal with those deep, seated resentments, the more you're going to be able to open up into more intimacy and more support and more collaborations that can, bring the outcomes that you're wanting. So you might get a little bit more aggro at this time is the point, or others might be that way towards you. So the topic of aggression might come up, yours or someone else's. And if you notice you bring a lot of angry people to you, but you don't feel angry, it's possible that they're alerting you energetically to the fact that you have some deep anger that has to be worked with. And it can be brought up at this time. Okay. Another big must know is that we have a lot of energy in Sagittarius, and this is not an energy that blends really well with Scorpio, so you will notice that it will be a little annoying. It will be, kind of busier and more dizzying than you prefer, and it does lend itself to more breadth than depth. Scorpio energies are all about going deep, and Sag energies are all about getting their fingers in a lot of pudding pies. But this doesn't have to be a bad thing for you. This can lighten things up for you, where instead of having a very deep mono focus, you start to take some energy and distribute it to other areas. And this can be great relief for you. It can be great fun, and it can be very enhancing to things that you're working on. All right, so just kind of remember at this time, diversifying might be your key to happiness, and you're also going to be very, very busy. Now, if you're shopping for the holidays, November is actually a better time for that, especially the first half of November. But you might be able to get some last-minute deals in the month of December, but if you leave the bulk of your shopping to this time, it might cause some issues for you, either with delivery times or with people not liking things or them coming broken or things like that. So just kind of know that doing early holiday plans might benefit you. Okay, we also have that strong energy in Capricorn, so this is going to give you some focus on practical things and business-minded things. You might be getting a leg up on your taxes. You might also be making plans for anything that requires discipline. And if you need to have discipline with something, you can start thinking about it earlier in the month, but you're going to have more support for things that require discipline towards the end of the month when those Sag energies shift into more Capricorn energy. And that's going to be much easier for you at the end of December and into January. Okay, so our next big must know is that we have the third and final of 2021 Saturn-Uranus square. This aspect is so big and so influential that I cannot do it justice in this horoscope video, but I have done a separate video on this. So if you search for Annie Botticelli's Saturn square Uranus, you will not be disappointed because there is so much to talk about there, from your individual experience up to your relationships, the community, the global levels. This has been a major Titan of the outer world clash, and it's been manifesting in countless ways, and it will continue into 2022. After around January or so, this last clash will have a little reprieve, and then from until around August, we'll kind of have these storylines more in the backdrop, and then we go deep with them again from August to November of 2022. But it's basically the story of the old versus the new. Foundations being tested, new ideas coming in that can be erratic and sometimes strange or very novel, and you kind of navigating with yourself and us navigating in the world, how we're going to hold tradition and hold a foundation and build new foundations while these new fledgling ideas are coming in to be our new experience. So it's the old versus the new. It's tradition versus innovation. It's also rebellion versus authority. And it's the topic of enslavement versus freedom. So you'll see those topics coming up a lot. They have been, they're going to continue, and that's going to be very personal and also very general. Okay, so the last big must know that we have here is that so that date was December 24th, but you will feel it strongly all month. The last two times that those dates aspects got very close were February 14th of 2021, and then June 14th, and then now here December 24th, and then August through November of 2022. Those are the hot spots for that aspect. Okay, so now on December 28th, Jupiter's moving into Pisces. We had a little bit of an intro into this in the summer for us in the Northern Hemisphere, and for y'all down under, your winter of 2021. We had a dip of Jupiter into Pisces. So some themes that came up at that time are now going to cycle back around. Now, in general, this is really positive for Scorpio because this is a fellow water sign, and that means that Jupiter is going to trine your Scorpio placements. And this is very exciting because a trine is the most benevolent aspect in all of astrology. Jupiter is the most benevolent of the outer planets in all of our main planets that we look at. And so this can bring great enhancements to your intuition, your connection with spirit, your connection with, higher understanding. And also this can be just so beneficial to anything that you're working on, because you're going to get Jupiter kisses. And the more Scorpio placements you have, the more kisses you're going to have. So everyone is going to be able to dip into that Jupiter in Pisces, kissing your Scorpio placement from the end of December through May 11th. And if you're at the very end of the sign, you're actually going to get more kisses towards the end of 2022. And if you were at the very beginning of the sign, you had some kisses in the summer of 2021, and you'll get those again at the end of December, beginning of January. So Jupiter is all about growth, expansion, benevolence, luck, harmony, solutions, and that energy can come to any place in your life, but it's also going to be very focused on where Jupiter is in your chart. Now, for y'all, this is going to be in the 5th house, okay? So let's talk about, I talked about this a little bit in the November report, but let's just touch on this again. Jupiter moving into your 5th house can mean an enhanced chance of meeting the love of your life or having your romantic sector be expanded in amazing ways. If you're wanting children, this is very, very, very big for those possibilities, or it can really enhance the relationships with children that you have or other important children in your life. Or you might notice that people around you, relatives, are having kids, and so your child's sector could be accentuated through children in your family that aren't your own, or through working with children or something like that. But true love, romance, children, and creativity. This is going to be a major cycle of creativity for Scorpios in this time from the end of December through May, around May 11th. Now, you might be feeling this already because there's often a 3-month window before the aspect starts that we start feeling it brew. So kind of think back to like the end of September, October, November, December, about creative projects that were coming up, creative ideas that you had. And those might be what's going to be enhanced or what's going to become front and center as we step into this transit. So your capacity to create, your capacity to bring your creations out into the world are all also going to be enhanced at this time. Something else that Jupiter is bringing is the chance for more fun and things on your bucket list to be crossed off. So my suggestion is that you go be brave and write down things that you really, really, really want. You can use, if you're watching this before November, because of course I post these early, you can use your birthday for this, or you can just do it at any time. If you get really brave and bold with the things that would be the most fun and the things that you want to create and your big wishes in the areas of all the things I just listed, especially, then the chance for them to be fulfilled at this time is greatly enhanced. So it's very, very exciting. All Scorpios are going to have the energy of this expansion in that 5th house. But if you are later in the sign, you are going to have some additional expansion occurring simultaneously in your 4th house. Okay, so those of you who are November born, especially as we progress more into November, or we'll say the second half of the sign or so, like 15 degrees through the rest of the sign around, then you're also continuing to have a lot of expansion that's going on in your home sector, home and family and real estate. Okay, so you might see the expansion come up there. Okay, so I have given you a massive amount of information and must-knows to help you make the most of this month and to know what could be coming so that you can best prepare for it. If you want to have even more information, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com. Sign up for my free email newsletter. On the AnnieHelpsYou.com site, you'll see the interface for all the free things that I do for you each month, and there are so many. When you sign up for my free email newsletter, you get Shine, my 28-day virtual coaching package. Talk about inner work. This is an inner work powerhouse that I give you for free as a member of my email community. Also, new perk starting towards the end of November, as a member of my email community, you will also get access to run a free birth chart and see what placements and degrees you have so that you can use my videos that I make for you, these in-depth videos, in even greater ways. I have so many other resources, including books, my book Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You can find it actually on bookshelves in all the major booksellers in the United States and lots of other countries too. And if it's not there on the shelf when you walk in, you can definitely order it. It's on Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere. And it's a guidebook to help you align with the natural rhythms of the universe. If you'd like to be an astrologer as your profession, or just casually earn some money from your love of astrology, or just help yourself and your friends and family, you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. If you think I go into lots of details, crazy amount of details in my free offerings, you should see what I give you in that course. So you can check that out at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. I also have some free courses on wellness and abundance at that site, which you can tap into. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.